All right, we're back again with another episode of Between Two Bonsais.
Are you doing the interview or am I, Steve?
Well, I think
what
we
the hell's
forgot,
this
I think,
all about?
I think we forgot to
Look
do
out.
it. I think on the last take we forgot to do
you
it.
go, bud.
So,
You got it. These are your notes now.
all right, cool.
Yeah, yes, we are. Thank you for the introduction. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the logo process that we put in place here at Bonsai Marketing. I know we get businesses that come in, whether they're a brand new business and they have nothing in way of a logo, or they're an existing business, but they want something better. A lot of times they come in and they think it's just okay, here's the scope, here's your logo type thing. And when we kind of lay out the expectations of the process and they get into it, they realize, damn, there's quite a bit of thought and research that goes into creating that final singular mark, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about just a little bit of the steps that we take in that. And the first one, when they come in, is the kind of the brainstorm, the initial brainstorm. I know we've called it the landscape meeting. Some of the things that we're trying to figure out during that first meeting, and then we'll move through the rest of the process.
Yeah, I mean, we usually bring them into a meeting, get them face to face, because we feel like that usually just ends up being more effective. We try to get their taste in colors, fonts, maybe textures, imagery. I mean, I'm being cute off camera, but
No, you're right.
but we do have a system in place that has that stuff for them to look at, so they can quickly kind of go through.
Oh, the living brand,
Yeah, the
where
living
we
brand
actually already have pictures ready to go for them to kind of identify trigger objects.
So it helps narrow down what they want.
I know we use the Pantone.
Yeah, we have a Pantone. We have a
Pantone.
Pantone book here available, so they can see all kind of different Pantone colors.
So that's on the aesthetic end, and I know one of the things we talk about with them too is that we are going to dig into kind of your preferences, but we're also going to help you understand that it's not just about your preferences. And actually, in large part, it's not your preferences at all, but there has to be a starting point. We're defining this for a different audience. I know when we do the research side with them, we're digging into kind of the standard like strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, going back even that far to determine what differentiates their business, who the hell their audience is, what persona we need to apply, and what are some of the visual cues that would prompt those folks to pay attention and take an action.
Yeah.
So that first meeting or two, it's just a lot of data mining.
Yeah, it's important.
Right.
You're trying to get as much information out of them as possible, because that just makes our jobs easier, and the end result is reflected in those early meetings.
Then you actually start putting pen to paper, literally and figuratively. I've seen you, Marlena, Rainey, actually come back with the information taken out of those meetings, and you start to do hand illustrations.
Yeah,
we still do those.
You do really fast, really like. I do really quick sketches. They're usually fairly crude, but like I just want to get ideas to see if something's going to work. And then once I start sketching something that I kind of like, I can kind of try to visualize it. How's it going to look clean in Illustrator? Is it going to change the way this looks? Will this actually transition over into a finalized logo properly and be used as like an icon? Stuff like that. You got to think of all the different applications that the logo is going to go through.
That's actually something, sorry to interrupt, but that's something that we've done as well in those early meetings, is trying to figure. I know it's hard to project for the future of the business years and decades down the road, but really try to think of all the vehicles that this thing will make its way onto, because if they're giving out in the beginning little pins, then it better be legible on a little pin. Things like that.
I mean, I usually design, or at least for my aesthetic is, I tell every client I'd really go simpler. The simpler I can get your vision, I think the better, more striking it is.
You're not dealing with all the intricacies of the design when you're trying to put it on certain things that.
I don't think a logo needs to be that intricate. I think there's other vehicles that can get that across. Like your logo needs to be, it's the face. It needs to remind people of what your business is. It doesn't necessarily need to describe.
It's a trigger object.
Yes.
Yeah, it's to trigger the larger narrative in their mind.
And some people get stuck on that. Some people want their logo to describe their whole business, and you have to convince them that's not the purpose necessarily of the actual logo. There's other
and it should
things.
Package well with other parts, because about 95% of the time it's going to be packaged up with something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go through the hand illustration, and I know then we go through the rounds of that with clients, and we get them to at least narrow down general direction. Okay, I like 3, 5, and 8.
Yeah.
Then you guys come back and you start pushing pixels,
Yeah.
and you do digital mock-ups. And they're still, I've seen them, and they're still somewhat rough, but you're just trying to get the concept from literally paper to screen. Correct?
Yeah, because like you can draw a whole page of little thumbnail sketches and stuff, and you can have a dozen ideas that look great. Show the client, they might pick 3 or 4 of those and say, I love the way these look, and then you get them into digital. And something about that transition from those loose pencil strokes to the clean lines of digital changes the logo drastically.
They're usually surprised, right?
Yeah, it can definitely. Some people like it. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody that actually likes that rough look, and we can do that. But the transition from rough pencil to digital can change the way a logo looks. So we do lots of little variations on the digital versions.
And the one thing I notice usually surprises folks when we sit down with them, whether it be an individual or a team of the marketing department, is that all this stuff early on is designed in Grayscale. Why do you guys recommend
we started
that?
doing that early on because people kind of connect with colors. I mean, that's not something we thought of. That's just general knowledge.
Yeah.
You will connect to a certain color, and then you won't look at the form of the logo.
Gotcha.
So really early on, we were like, let's just show people Grayscale. We don't want them to get too attached to
Don't
a
even
blue.
introduce.
Like, they'll see the
Yeah.
one, maybe it's the weakest logo in our opinion, and we made it monotone blue.
And that's
they'll
what they
go,
fall in
oh,
love
I
with.
love blue. That's a great one.
Gotcha.
And then when you change the colors a little bit or give them color variations, they're like, well, and they start flip-flopping. And so we stopped doing that early on.
All right, so you've now moved them into the digital realm. They're in the conference room with us. We're going through logic, process, and then checking back in on how it matches up with those early meetings of really kind of data mining. Who's this going to reach? Why would they be moved by it? What are some of the behavior sciences behind it? Now they pick the one, right? And we're short of going through different font variations and stuff like that. We make a few tweaks if we're lucky, a lot of tweaks if we're not, but we do have a final direction, right? And that could even take in forms of...
That usually you can get down to a fairly final form, and that's sometimes when you might go revisit. You might come back to that application phase. So it's like, okay, well, we got this kind of locked in. We're really locked in on this look. What are you going to be using this for? And a lot of people will say, I'm using it for my website, social, maybe I'm going to make a shirt. So we'll come up, and usually we design ahead of time thinking that there's probably going to be some variations here. So we'll leave space in that logo so we can do a badge design, do like a circular or something, left aligned with text right, stacked. We try to make them versatile as possible because we know the client's going to need to present them in different ways.
One of the things that at the end of the process, and I know that this is something that we've done for a long time, is once the kind of the final mark is set, then I've seen you pass it on, or depending on who's assigned to the illustration itself, pass it on for a brand style guide, pass it on for a brand board to show how it could be applied in other aspects of their brand narrative. And so you're not just getting the mark, but you're getting the owner's manual of the mark.
I think that helps a lot. Like usually, like Rainey's great at doing storyboards and like style guides where you apply it to patterns behind it, color, like inverted color variations, stacked, left aligned,
just to show them different schemes that could blend in.
So they can see how this thing is going to be applied in multiple ways, multiple colors. It's flexible. We try to design logos that are flexible.
That's great. So it's not just a single mark.
No, I mean, you can. Some people want that solid mark. They're like, I want a logo and I'm going to use it for everything. And that's fine. But we also have to think about that company that's going to be using it for 10 different applications, and it might change the scaling of it, the logistics and all that stuff.
Good stuff, man. I think I counted 5 or 6 steps, and I know there's steps within steps, but it's a question that's been asked to us many times, or it's been, we do a pretty good job when we scope out projects of like, here's what to expect. But I think when businesses get in the midst of this process, they are always impressed with like how thorough and detailed, and really how the end product reflects that thoroughness. That's what has made it successful for us.
And we love logo design. So.
You draw pretty pictures. You really do.
Pretty pictures.
That's all it is.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, man. That's it, baby. That's all right. Nice job. 20 minutes.